Alright, but the sound of that music, that means it's the start of another Malarkey Hour. This is your host, Matt, and with me, as always, my co-host, John. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Doing great.
Fantastic.
I've never seen John in a better mood than he is right now.
This is awesome.
He is brimming with enthusiasm right now.
Thank you for having me on today.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you for being on, taking time out of your busy schedule.
You're welcome.
How are you, John? Good?
I'm okay.
Are you okay? As always, just okay.
Yeah, we're all just okay.
Yeah. So, let's see. What is going on this weekend? You know, this is sort of the low right before the storm. We don't have any important games this weekend.
There's a
Football-wise.
storm?
There's a storm coming, John.
Where? When? Here?
February 2nd, everywhere, all across the nation.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Just make sure you put a coolant in your car and wrap up your pipes.
Bring in your pets.
Nah, who cares? I'm allergic to cats.
Either bring in your pets or start digging holes. Either way.
All right. Dig the holes while it's still warm.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out there in the cold digging holes.
You're ready. Well, obviously
I'm
the storm. Obviously
I don't condone killing animals.
Yes, I'll believe you. Yes.
Unless it's like a deer and you're gonna eat it, then I'm serious. Yeah.
You're gonna eat it. You're gonna use every part of his body, like the American Indian.
Yeah.
The hoof.
Nothing wrong with that.
The hoof, the snout.
Nothing
Teeth.
wrong with that.
Eyeballs, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the storm I'm talking about is the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is 1 week away, or is it? I guess let's talk about a couple of Super Bowl stories. The one I want to lead up to is the possibility of the Super Bowl being moved. They've been talking about because there's gonna be a storm in the New York area, and possibly it's gonna be snowing, and they're just preparing everybody for the possibility of them having to move the Super Bowl either earlier or possibly even to Monday.
That would be weird.
Monday night's Super Bowl. How would you feel about that, John? Would you? How would it affect your viewing?
No. I'm gonna watch it. I don't care.
Regardless,
I
yeah.
don't care if it's at midnight on a fucking Tuesday. I'm gonna watch it. But I'm just saying. Yeah, that'd be weird. I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't. They're talking about the weather forecast, and they're saying that. I don't even know what night means or evening, but they're saying like 60% chance of snow or something. I don't know. I saw it earlier on TV. Like, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to play it. And they're going to rough it out. I don't think it's going to happen. But you know what? It wouldn't bother me.
It wouldn't.
Not really. No. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people just have their Super Bowl Sunday planned out, Super Bowl parties. But
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't usually do that whole thing, so maybe that's why
I'm sure.
But I think it will bother.
I'm sure it bothered people who were
I bet
at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, people plan this out for like months ahead of time, and most people leave the day after, so it's gonna screw up their plans, their hotel reservations, plane reservations, all that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy about it.
And I think, like you already know, I think the NFL, if it actually came down to something like that, where I think they should give everybody their money back.
At the people attending it? Yeah.
Yeah, if they have to move it, I think you got to get your money back and still be able to go. That's not.
Yeah, I mean,
they make that money in one commercial.
I don't know about one commercial, but
I think they make it in one commercial, maybe two.
What do you think the cost would be to refund everybody's tickets?
I can't even begin to guess. A lot.
Yeah.
But what do they charge for a Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah, about $3 million.
Okay, it probably cost them 3-4 commercials.
Yeah. Tops,
I would say.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, a lot of people don't even live in that city. They're flying.
Yeah,
in.
yeah, the majority.
They're flying in. They have hotels booked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's you could say like people throwing Super Bowl parties are being inconvenienced, but the people that are actually going to that game are being way more inconvenienced than we are.
Yeah. The people throwing Super Bowl party, they could just put the sandwiches into the fridge and wait
My
until
avocados are going bad.
Right. We must eat.
We have to eat these quick.
Right.
But yeah.
Because I mean, it's just supposedly it's probably not gonna get affected. You know, now that we're a little bit closer to the date, the weather forecasts are sort of looking a little bit more positive, and they're predicting probably won't be as bad. But last week, I was sort of the news earlier in the week, just the possibility of them, or even talked about moving it up an hour. So if I think the Super Bowl will start at 6. Moving it up to 5 to avoid the storm.
I think they're gonna figure something out.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure something out.
Yeah, hopefully. The most important event of the year, they have to.
Yeah.
So that was making news. The other story making sort of waves earlier in the week was the Richard Sherman controversy. Right after the NFC Championship, the Seattle cornerback Richard Sherman sort of went off on.
I think he's a thug. I don't know.
That was the word being thrown around.
I just think he's a thug.
You had I mean, I'm sure everybody saw the interview. It's been on the news. Richard Sherman got interviewed by Aaron Andrews right after the game, and he went off on Michael Crabtree, the wide receiver for the 49ers, and his critics sort of went off on him, and one of the words being thrown around was thug, that Richard Sherman's just a thug.
They've been saying that?
They've been saying that.
Oh, wow.
You just heard about this, John?
Nah, I think it was staged.
You know, well, let's talk about that. Me and you were talking about that the other night.
Nobody said anything.
Yeah, no,
I
haven't
haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I haven't even looked it up, but I think it was staged. Sell some beats.
Yeah, tell us your theory. Tell us your theory why you think it's staged.
All right, we've all seen the commercials. We got the Kaepernick one, and then we have the who else was it?
Which commercial?
Kevin Garnett for those head. Okay, we won't mention the name of the headphones. I think I already said it, but the headphones. Yeah. You know, they're in the headphones. They're trying to sell those. Yeah, it's by one Dr. D.
Dr. Pepper, I think.
I think his name is Dr. Pepper selling headphones. Yeah. Whatever he's doing these days. But anyway, they had a Kevin Garnett one. I think the one that became more popular was the other one, the Kaepernick one.
Yeah, when he's on the bus and people are yelling.
He's on the bus and he's going in through the front entrance for some wacky reason. I don't understand it. People are throwing.
And he's the only player on the bus.
Yeah, and he's on the bus by himself, and he's listening to these awesome headphones, and people are throwing crap at him. Yeah. And I'm like, why doesn't this guy go through the service exit or entrance? Right? Yeah. But anyway, apparently these headphones are selling like crazy. I have nephews. They all want them. They're like, I think they're like
$5,000.
Yeah, I think they're like, I was gonna say like $50,000 a set or something. I don't know how much these headphones are. Yeah. But like 2 days later, after that, he's in a commercial. Kaepernick's out of the Super Bowl. Now it's Richard Sherman in the commercial, and I was like, how did they film that so fast? And then it ends with the commercial. Somebody calls him a thug. Yeah. And then he walks off, and that's how
he turns around. Yeah. And sort of, I guess, blocks him out with his headphones. These $1 billion headphones that block out all sound and block out all
I just looked
negative
them up.
remarks.
They're $200,000.
$200,000
a set.
So it's being aimed to.
If they offer the insurance, get the insurance.
Get the insurance. You gotta get the insurance.
Yeah,
sucker not.
Apparently, they break very easily. But yeah, I think it was staged because that's all they talked about all week. They got the commercial out. They threw the word "thug" out there, and it's all big little, right? News story now. Yeah. And then I was like, the commercial. I was like, how did they get this commercial out so fast? Yeah. I think if you won the game, they're not going to air this commercial if you lost the game, right?
I would. You know what? I mean, they sort of have to. They filmed it.
Well, I think what they would have done is they would have kept showing the Kaepernick
one,
and they would have tossed the Sherman one.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
I think it's bad marketing to show losers, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just weird to me. I think he went out on that whole rant, and he sounds like an intelligent guy. Like
that's what I want to talk about. There is there was talks about people were calling him a thug, and and a lot of stuff that came up with that is the thug was has a lot of racist connotations. It's just another way to essentially call him the N-word, and that sort of became part of the narrative of this story. But you know what? Yeah, what I found funny though. It's like you heard from different people who know him, and even people who are defending him was like, well, he isn't a thug because he went to Stanford, and my thing is he's not a thug not because he went to Stanford. He's not a thug because what he's doing isn't like my thing is he's not out robbing people. He's not out like committing crimes. He's just being a dick on the football field. Like I don't think that qualifies him as a thug. He's just a dick. I think he's a dick. He's an asshole. But a thug, I don't know. Like it's just.
Didn't George Bush go to Yale?
Yeah, I know. And that's what I found funny in there. It's like, well, he's not a thug because he went to Stanford. I'm like, no, that's beside the point. Like he's not a thug because he's not doing anything that's like what you would say is a thug. For me, if you're gonna call somebody a thug, somebody committing crime, somebody messing with people. He isn't. He's a football player who's being an asshole to other football players on the field. That's all he's doing. He's not a bad guy. He's not a criminal. And yeah, I mean, and he's a smart guy. He did go to Stanford, and
trash talk is good.
Yeah.
You got to have at least a couple of guys on that team that are crazy.
But the thing that did sort of bug me about Sherman is if you're gonna trash talk.
Then he apologized.
No, not even the apology. Well, yeah, that sort of bugged me too. But he got into this whole like. Sort of got mad because people were criticizing him. And it's like, well, if you're gonna trash talk, you gotta be prepared for people to say something about you. So if you're,
but the headphone company didn't prepare for that.
Don't worry, Richard. Just put these on, and none of those bad words will come through.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like he sort of got mad because people were criticizing what he was doing. And it's like. If you're gonna do that, you gotta be prepared for people to criticize you.
Yep.
I know he talks about having emotion on the field, and that's fine. And you know what? I don't want that out of the game. I don't think that should be outlawed. Yeah, trash talk, but at the same time, you gotta grow thick skin. And if you're gonna be able to dish it out, you gotta be able to take it as well. So that's when
I still think it's a media thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They got a lot of attention.
And that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
That's what the headphone company wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. No, and it's just funny because everybody's like, well, he's not regular. He's not always like this, and I mean, this is not a first time thing. He does this all the time, and it's like
his coach from Stanford defended him too.
Yeah.
So. Whatever.
I
have no problem with it.
No, me neither. Like I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think what he's doing is wrong. But I mean, does he come out as an asshole? Yeah, he comes across as an asshole. But it doesn't make him a bad guy. It just makes him an asshole.
Really come across like a wimp.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did come back and apologize, and that's the thing that sort of bugged me. He's like, why apologize? Like if you're really gonna have this as your character, like.
The headphone company's holding to.
You think so?
No, I don't know. Probably like his PR guy or something.
Yeah, to come back and apologize. But I mean, it's.
If it really was a stunt for this headphone company,
yeah.
Then they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah. It's just, I mean,
they got the attention they needed.
Yeah.
I bet you a lot of people who didn't even know who Richard Sherman was now do.
Well, and
yeah, I mean, I knew who he was. He's a corner. He's one of the best corners in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a lot of people who don't even watch football are like, did you see that guy, that Sherman guy?
Yeah, and
even my mom knows who Richard Sherman is now.
Yeah, no, and the commercial comes on, and he sort of associates, oh look, that's the guy who was in the controversy, and then it's just the fact that they used the word thug in the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient. So, I don't know. But a lot of people didn't like what he said. Goodell came on. He wasn't pleased with it either. And he says he put himself in front of... Oh, Darrelle Revis, the cornerback for the Jets, said he put himself in front of the team. And I'm like...
So what? Who
Yeah,
cares?
I mean, a lot of players do. And I don't think it makes him a bad teammate either.
He didn't even curse.
No?
That's the other thing. He didn't curse.
No, he didn't
There was
curse.
nothing racist. He didn't curse. Yeah, so what? He's talking crap. He's talking schmack.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah. No, I agree. And interesting story, something to talk about before the Super Bowl. So that was the Richard Sherman episode. Let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the leader of the Denver Broncos, Peyton Manning, and what the Super Bowl means to his legacy. This is gonna be his third Super Bowl. If he wins this, he'll be the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl with two different teams.
Really?
First ever. No other quarterbacks ever done that.
I like Seattle. Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Well, let's not talk about the line yet.
No. I'm still in the middle on this game.
But no. Well, I sort of want to just talk about Manning's legacy and what this means to his legacy. He did an interview this weekend. Yeah, he says even if they lose, he plans on coming back.
It doesn't hurt him if he loses.
No, and that's what I want to talk about. Do you think his legacy will be hurt if he loses a second Super Bowl?
No.
And he's won in 2 in the Super Bowl.
Brady lost 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Or not in a row, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying not 2 years in a row,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
2 consecutive Super Bowls, and I don't think it hurt him either.
Yeah, but he won 3.
Yeah, he's 3-2. I mean, you can say the guys, he would be what, 1-2?
Yeah, he'd be 1 and 2.
No, not really. I think the fact that I think you just have to get there. I think once you're there.
Well, because it's interesting because you saw somebody. Let's talk about another quarterback in Denver's history, John Elway. He went to 3 Super Bowls, lost all of them, and it wasn't for the fact that he won his last 2 before he retired. Do you think his legacy would have been tarnished if he hadn't won those last 2? If his record would have been 0-3 in Super Bowls?
Not really.
Not really?
No. I really don't. I actually think winning the Super Bowl it sounds horrible, but I think it's overrated.
Think so?
I think.
Well, because the reason
I think getting to the Super Bowl is I don't want to say it's enough, but it's almost enough just to play.
Well, it's
Marino. People put Marino in their top 5. He never won one.
Yeah, but I think with Marino, he has all those records. Like if you look at like a guy like Jim Kelly, he went to 4 Super Bowls and he lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, and he's
still be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's still gonna be in the Hall of Fame, but you never hear when you discuss top quarterbacks, you never hear his name come up ever. You hear always name come up, but I think it's because he won those last 2. You hear Marino's just because he has all those records, and you have to have him.
Okay, well, I'll change my position a little bit. I think you might want to win 1.
Yeah.
I think if you go 1-2,
yeah,
nah,
yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
I do think it's very important to win that 1.
Even if you go 1-3,
yeah,
nah.
Yeah,
even if you go 1-4, nah. But if you go like 0-5 or something ridiculous,
I do think just winning that 1 is important.
I think the fact that Manning has won already, I think the pressure is actually there's
off of him,
it's more on Seattle.
Yeah,
he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He tied 1 record, broke 2 this year. What else do you want from the guy? He's like 100 years old.
Yeah. And it's interesting. They asked him about his legacy this weekend. He said that they've been asking me about my legacy since I was 24. And he's like, do you really can you really even like think about your legacy that young? And he even said, even right now at 37, like, can you even think about like that's something you think about when you're in your 60s? And I think he has a point. It's something that we're gonna have to wait until after he retires to read and let it really sink in and sort of look back and see really where he is in sort of the pantheon of quarterbacks. And it's hard to judge his legacy right now, and I'm understandably it's natural for it to come up because he's in the Super Bowl, and you sort of have to have stories to talk about, these 2 weeks leading up to it. But yeah, I really don't think his legacy gets tarnished if he loses.
Yeah, he's got one.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna go down as I would say top 5 quarterbacks.
Most quarterbacks retire without ever winning one.
Yeah,
he's got one.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah.
So, but the important question is, will he be better than Eli? Do you think he's better than Eli?
Oh, hell yes.
Even if he loses?
Yes.
2 Super Bowls to 1?
Yes.
Eli's perfect though.
It doesn't matter.
Eli's the only guy to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
It doesn't matter. That's because of their defense that was able to hit him.
Yeah.
No. And that crazy pass that Eli threw that got stuck in the guy's helmet after they were trailing by, what were they, down by like 4 or something?
It was like straight out of Little Giants.
Mm-hmm. The annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
No, dude, Peyton is 10 times better than his brother. I don't know about 10, but he's significantly better than Eli.
Yeah.
I mean, the stats alone just show it.
Yeah.
The Giants got hot, and you know what got hot? The Giants' defense got hot.
Yeah.
Eli was a game manager, and he was able to put up enough points. It was a low-scoring Super Bowl, at least the last one was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, just don't turn it over, Eli, and we'll win this Super Bowl. And that's what happened. I don't remember the score, but I think it was pretty low, right?
The one 2010 is that the last time you won?
We'll look it up.
Actually, it was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
I think it was like 3 years, wasn't it? I don't even know.
Actually, yeah, I think it was 2 years. Because last year was the Ravens. I think it was the year before, the one right before it.
Look it up in a minute. What else you got?
Well,
I think it ends in a tie for the first Super Bowl ever.
and they just don't bother with
No overtime.
no overtime. It's like we don't have time.
I actually, yeah. We'll make our predictions later. I'm still kind of torn here.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about sort of what the conditions, how the conditions are going to affect either team. If it does snow, there's forecasts for either snow or rain, but they're saying more likely it's going to snow. Who do you think that favors? Like, in your opinion, who would you have if there's just a few feet of snow coming in, and both teams have to play in it? For you, who has that advantage? Because it's gonna play a factor.
Definitely Seattle.
Favor Seattle?
I'm going strictly by. Okay. I think Peyton Manning's gonna get hit. I'm not saying like on every play but I think the fact that he never gets touched, I think it's actually gonna change in the Super Bowl. He's gonna have to get rid of the ball faster. And he does not throw the ball well in the cold, and you know that. And you can say like you can go by like win percentage, but you can see that even when his accuracy's off in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we could pull up stats, and I think I can back that up. But I'm saying the ball's wobbly and off, or he's not holding on to it right. You take the glove on, take the glove off, whatever works. He's not comfortable in the cold.
Yeah. For me, I think the more important factor in the game is going to be less the snow and more the wind. If the wind's out of control and they can't throw it, I think that's when it does go advantage to Seattle, because Seattle has a better running game. Even though Denver's running game is pretty good, but Denver's running game is really predicated on them being able to pass it. If they set up the run with the pass, so if the wind is playing a factor and they can't throw it, I think Seattle has the edge on the running, because they could just run the ball down Denver's throat. They got Marshawn Lynch, who a great tough running back, and he could run in the snow, and that'll be a big factor. Yeah,
this is going to be. I think the weather's a big deal, going to come down to turnovers, field position. I think it will probably be a low-scoring game if the weather is actually snowy and nasty.
Yeah.
Actually, I got it right here. In 2012, when the Giants played the Patriots. Yeah, you're right. It was 2 Super Bowls ago.
Of course I'm right.
Yeah, right. Giants 21, New England 17. When they played in 08, Giants 17, Patriots 14.
Yeah. It's rare unless
the defense stepped up.
You know what? But the thing is about Super Bowls, unless it's a blowout, you don't see a high scoring. It's rare you see a high scoring Super Bowl unless it's a blowout.
34-31 last year.
No, but you know what I mean. Like it's like
they used to be blowouts.
Yeah.
It seems like the last few years they've been actually quite competitive.
Yeah. So
they used to always be blowouts. So
we will see. I really don't want to get into our prediction. I want to see that for next week's show when we have sort of our it's going to be an all Super Bowl podcast. So I want to save our predictions. I still sort of want to see how this week's plays out. But I sort of they want to sort of touch base on it, and you'll find out our picks next week. Listen to this podcast. We're going to put it up before the Super Bowl. And you have our predictions then. You'll get all our prop bets on the game. So listen out for next week's All Super Bowl podcast. So I want to sort of move away from the Super Bowl and talk about the only football game this weekend. That was the Pro Bowl.
Who cares?
John has something against the Pro Bowl, but I want to talk about it because this year is a little bit different. They changed the format a little bit on this year's Pro Bowl. Usually it's AFC against NFC, and this year they changed it. It was going to be Team Rice against Team Sanders. NFL Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders got to pick their teams, and then they faced off against each other. Did you obviously?
But you know what?
What?
Who cares?
Obviously, John, I was going to ask you, but obviously you did not watch this game.
No.
Well, I did, and they did a few rule changes. Did you happen to read what some of those rule changes were going to be for this game?
No.
Well, they wanted to put more of an emphasis on defense. You know, years past there was zero defense, so this year they made it
4 torn ACLs. The NFL is thrilled.
So this year they wanted to put a little bit more emphasis on the defense. So they you know, in the years past they wouldn't allow stuff like stunts on, you know, at the defensive line and stuff like that. So this year they took away those restrictions. There was too many warnings after every quarter. They're really trying to up the offense, and actually became a really pretty competitive game for people who watched it. The final score was
you have to onside kick it after every touchdown.
Well, you know they had some of those rules like there's no kickoffs towards the end.
Got to go for 2 every time.
But the score ended up being a pretty exciting ending. It ended up being Team Rice won 22-21. The last in the last minute they scored a touchdown. They went for 2, and they did a 2-point conversion, and they won by 1. It was, you know, one of the more entertaining Pro Bowls that I've seen in the last 10 years.
I'm happy for you.
Well, you know, obviously you don't like it, so you know the reason I want to also to bring it up is
maybe it was different this year. I didn't watch it, but it always sucks.
No, and that's the reason I want to bring it up because, you know, obviously the NFL Pro Bowl is probably we can, you know, safely say probably the worst All-Star, or I guess you call it All-Star game, Pro Bowl, whatever, of all the major sports. Is probably the worst one. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's the number one's the NBA.
Yeah.
And I like to watch the home run derby.
Yeah, the baseball.
I like to watch the home run derby.
Football's probably the last.
The game, the actual like MLB, like the division game or whatever. It kind of sucks. I mean, you get a lot of. It's usually low scoring because you have nothing but awesome pitchers.
Yeah. Yeah, and pitching pretty much dictates what the score's gonna be.
But yeah, no, NBA rules the All-Star game.
Well, let's talk about that. Why? Let's talk about why that is. Why is the NFL Why is the NFL's Pro Bowl so bad? Like,
there's too much money on the field.
do you think that's what it is? And
Yep.
you know what? I think part of it is too. It's just.
Do you really want your guy that's making $40 million out there getting hit?
Well, that's
For nothing.
That's the point I want to make. Well, you know, all the games they're not gonna go out there and really push themselves and hurt themselves. But I think the NFL, that's the only sport that it affects the play. In the NBA game, they could take it sort of easy, but it could still be entertaining. You have the dunks, you know. There's no defense in the NBA All-Star game, but it's still exciting because you got the high scoring. And
it's fast paced.
Yeah, and the same thing with baseball. There's no contact. I think it's just with the NFL, it's hard it's hard to pull back. It's hard to not go full force and still make it an entertaining game with football. And I think that's where inherently this game cannot be as exciting as the other ones because it is a full contact sport. And
did they throw a lot of flags?
It's hard.
Were there like late hits? Were there like
no, not really.
Roughing nothing?
Not really. It's hard to play football at half speed, you know. And once you start doing that, and obviously they're going to be doing that because they don't want to get hurt. But once you start doing that, the game suffers, you know. And I think that's the reason, you know, it isn't as exciting.
I didn't watch it, but the only reason it's low scoring is because the quarterback is not familiar with his receivers.
Oh yeah. No, and you know the playbook they had a week.
I'm assuming you saw it. I'm assuming there were not a lot of first downs.
No, I mean,
I'm just going by the score.
Yeah, at halftime it was 14-14. You know, so
yeah. I mean, it's not like where the NBA All-Star game where it's like 160 to 150.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit. What can they do to if you were in charge of changing the Pro Bowl, what would you do?
Get rid of it.
Just get rid of it? You just wouldn't play it? You wouldn't even think about maybe salvaging it? Maybe.
Well, if I was in charge,
yeah,
and then we're making money, keep it going. But to make it better for the fans,
yeah,
you can't do anything.
You think it's just broken? There's nothing you can do.
Nothing. I don't think anything can be done.
So for you,
I mean, yeah, I mean it. No. What could you do? I mean, you got the best defensive players playing the best offensive players, and nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. It's expensive as hell.
Yeah.
You could ruin an entire franchise with this one game.
My argument for against it is, it's played right before the Super Bowl, so you're losing two teams. The two teams who are going to the Super Bowl, you're losing. Those players can't play in it, So
right.
It sort of becomes a meaningless game for me. I think I agree. I think they should just get rid of it and just give them the honors. Just say, all right, you're the best guard this year. You're the best offensive guard. You're the best quarterback. And just give them the honors and that's it. Like nobody's really gonna be complaining if the game isn't played. I think
they could make it would probably even be more entertaining than the Pro Bowl. Make like
a skills challenge.
Just like they do in the NBA. Make a skills challenge.
And just forget about the game.
Quarterbacks and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm just saying something like that.
Yeah, just forget about the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's so hard for them to play like a half-speed football game and for it to be exciting.
Where was it?
Honolulu, like always. It's always in Hawaii.
Yeah, I was going to say it's usually in Hawaii.
It's always in Hawaii. There's been I think they had it in Vegas one year, didn't they?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Maybe I'm misremembering. Or maybe that's the NBA All-Star game.
There's the time I went to Vegas and blacked out and dreamt about football.
But yeah, I mean, I just think with football, it's just a hard sport to sort of take it easy and make still have the game be exciting. Yeah, I think the NBA All-Star game is always going to be the more exciting, All-Star game of all the major sports. There's just more to it that sort of presents itself to be entertaining.
The offense is so entertaining.
Yeah.
The dunks, the whatever. It's so fast-paced. offense is always more entertaining than defense.
Yeah.
Even though that's not what usually, wins game. Well, not usually, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of have balance, but yeah.
Since we're starting to talk about the NBA All-Star game, let's talk about this year's the lineup for the starting West lineup.
I don't know who it is. Tell me.
East just got announced this week. Like always, it's fan voted. The starting lineup's fan voted, and then the bench is voted on by the coaches. And let me read off who got the bid. In the West, you have Kevin Durant, who got the most votes in the West. He's one of the starting forwards. He got 1,300,000 votes. You got Stephen Curry. He got 1 million votes. You got Kobe Bryant. He got a little bit under 1 million. Blake Griffin and Kevin Love.
Can Kobe Bryant play?
He can't. Well, we'll talk about that right now. We got the East lineup. It's, of course, LeBron James was the top vote getter out of both sides.
He's not very good.
LeBron James. You got Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Kyrie Irving of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's talk about who you think is deserving and who isn't. Obviously, Kobe Bryant's been hurt most of the year, and like I said, this is fan voted, so whoever the fan votes.
How long is he supposed to be out?
He's still out.
I know he's out, but how long?
I don't know.
I mean, could it be the season?
Well, he already said he's not going to play in it.
Yeah, but is he out for the season?
Who knows? He could possibly, if he decides to, he could probably going to be out all season. It just depends. He's determined to come back, but who knows?
Who's deserving? Well, yeah, you can't say Kobe. You can't say Kobe's deserving because he hasn't played.
He hasn't played. Yeah.
Even though you know what, he'd probably get in no matter what.
Yeah.
I'd probably vote for him anyway.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What? That's the starting.
That's the starting. Yeah, the starting's always
And
voted
the reserves are done by who?
by the coaches.
Read me the reserves. Do you have them?
No, they don't.
Okay.
I think it's. I don't know if it got announced. I don't know if it's like in a week or so, or it takes them a while. Let me see.
I don't know. I didn't hear anybody that surprised me. Read me the East again.
Well, the East also has. Let me see. We have LeBron James, Paul George. That's not surprising. They're the top MVP.
Yeah,
Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Kyrie Irving. My thing is Dwayne Wade. The same thing with Kobe. He's been. They sat him out to rest him, or he's been hurt.
Right. Just like I think I saw something that said Chris Paul plans to return for an All-Star game, and I'm like, he hasn't played.
Yeah, I know exactly.
He's assuming he's in the All-Star game, or I don't know. I think you have to play. I think they're actually you should be off the ballot if you didn't play like 75% of the season.
Yeah.
Or up to this point.
And I think this is where sort of the process is flawed. I know they want to involve the fans determining the All-Stars, but this is the time when I'm like, fans are stupid sometimes. Like, to vote in a player that hasn't played the majority of the season, it's stupid, and it takes away a spot to a more deserving player. And I think, the NBA All-Star game could be so much better if you saw 1 year, like maybe, Kobe's hurt and, it gives another player, maybe there's a player is having a great year, who, it's up and coming star, and, this is the, time for him to shine, and you got Kobe, taking up a spot,
right. He's not going to play.
And I know a lot of people say, well, it's meaningless, and like All-Star game, like who cares who's in it? But you know what I say? a lot of times, when people like deciding, well, should a player go into Hall of Fame? You always hear, well, how many All-Star games they got voted into?
Who cares?
I mean, I just
who
think.
Who cares?
I don't know.
No, I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter for Hall of Fame. I mean, you just pull out the stat sheet. That's it.
No, but one of the determining factors is, like, how many All-Star games did they make? And if this is what happens. I think it sort of
Okay.
taints. I think it sort of taints that.
Okay,
that
but
statistics.
we're talking about an all-star game that's voted in by the people, and a Hall of Fame that's not voted in by the people.
Yeah, but one of the qualifications they use is, well, how many all-stars games did they make? And I don't know. I just think
who cares?
I just think it's a flawed process. And I think when you get what was it a couple for like a few years you got
Luke Walton robbed again.
No, but you had all those years when Yao Ming would get voted in, even when he was hurt. But because he was voted in by a billion Chinese people.
He's so tall.
But I mean,
he must be great.
Yeah, there's a few years he was hurt. He didn't play a single game, but he still got voted
in.
Trying to be nice. But you know what I mean? Like because even Dwayne Wade, I don't think he's deserving.
No, actually, Dwayne Wade was the one guy I was gonna say shouldn't be on the ballot for starters.
Yeah.
Not even just because he's hurt. I think he's overrated.
Yeah.
But we are talking about the East.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cause like for me, like Kobe Bryant, you take him off and you give somebody like James. I think James Harden's deserving of a starting bid.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing ridiculous.
I'm actually surprised. I think it's just because fans don't like him. Like I was expecting
Dwight Howard?
to hear. I was gonna say Dwight Howard or what's his name from the Clippers? Blake Griffin.
Well, he was voted in.
Oh, you read me, Blake Griffin.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna start.
Okay, I was thinking
Blake Griffin and Kevin Love were the other forwards.
Okay.
Well, I think Blake Griffin's considered a center now.
Kevin Love, I think he snuck in there.
You think so? He's having a pretty good year.
No, it's all right.
Well, there's talk about maybe it should have been LaMarcus Aldridge. He's the Blazers having a really good year. They have
Dude, LaMarcus Aldridge is. Oh God, I would not want to play against him ever.
Yeah.
Like, no. If he had to score 30 points and I had to score like 1,
yeah,
he would win.
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, is very underrated.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are faulting him because he's on a really good team and they have a good record. Maybe they're saying,
The one that's starting to move up for me is DeMarcus Cousins.
He's playing good, yeah. He's on a crappy team, but he's
spending his best years on a horrible team.
He's finally living up to his potential. Everybody, saying, well, he just has to play up to his potential, and for years he hasn't. And yeah, I think this year he's finally.
Dwight Howard, I mean, he hasn't gotten that much better.
No, and you know what? We saw his best year already.
The only thing
he's never gonna get better offensively.
The only thing he's gotten better at is free throws.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean you can look at the stats. I think this year he's actually making his free throws.
Yeah.
I mean, even it's like the high 60s. I mean, it's better than 50%.
Yeah.
But no, he's not gotten better he's a center, and he hasn't gotten better. He's awful. Yeah. I mean, I'd take him if on my team, but I'm just saying, like for the money he's getting paid.
Yeah.
Like he makes so many bad decisions when you watch him. It's awful.
Yeah,
he doesn't get in the spots.
His offensive game is not going to get any better.
No, he doesn't get in the right spots. The one that has improved that I never thought would improve is Blake Griffin. If you watch him. Yeah,
but the thing is, Blake Griffin's still young, and I think he still has years where he still has a chance to improve. I think Dwight Howard, he already hit his peak. He's as good as he's going to get.
People don't like him.
Who, Blake Griffin?
No, Dwight Howard.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he's not in commercials. That's all. I'm not.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin's got all the Kia commercials.
Yeah, he's got the Kia market locked up.
Yeah, but Blake Griffin's game has definitely gotten better. Uh-huh. He gets the ball in the spots he likes, and it works out for him. And his free throws have gotten better. Defense, he plays defense. He looks better.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard, no, he's not gotten better.
And I mean, I just like I said, I think he's at his peak. But I don't know. It's
Houston can be dangerous on the right nights.
Yeah, I think they're one of the top teams. Yeah, so I mean, it got announced. I don't want to take away the voting from the fans, but sometimes every year there's always going to be a lot of omissions that shouldn't be. I don't know, like I just don't know how we could probably improve this, because I don't want to give it. I think sports writers are just as bad, you know. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm talking about like trying to figure out who to turn the voting over to. I don't know. It's
us. It should just stay with us.
Yeah, I do think there should be rules. Like if you've been hurt, the majority of the beginning of the season, there should be like you shouldn't be. Your name should be blacked out, and you shouldn't be able to be voted in. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
You shouldn't be able to play. 20% of the season and still get in.
Yeah, exactly. Just because you're popular.
Yeah, just because your name is branded.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
whatever.
Because I mean, this is the best All-Star game.
Right.
And I think it's just because you have the best All-Star game, you can't just rest on those laurels. You gotta continue to try to improve it. I don't know, like, because even the NBA All-Star game sort of starting to decline. The dunk contest isn't.
Well, there's
isn't
only
as
much
exciting.
shit you can do.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, there's got to be ways to improve it.
You can lift the rim I don't know, to 12 feet, 12 feet high or something. What else can you do?
Yeah,
I mean, we're watching Dwight Howard to go blow out a candle on a cupcake that he put on the rim.
I don't know, like there's still so many things you can do. Like I don't know why they don't try doing like a horse game or 1-on-1. That stuff like that would be exciting.
I think horse would be fun.
1-on-1.
I've been preaching 1-on-1 for years, but I don't.
They'll never do it.
No,
that's what's frustrating. They'll never do it. You'll never see Kobe and LeBron go at it, or you'll never see.
No. There's too many egos at stake.
Yeah.
I think it's you gotta follow the money. It's always about the money.
Yeah.
Even you think Nike wants to keep Kobe when he loses a 1-on-1 battle to LeBron? Really? I mean, what if he gets his ass kicked?
Yeah.
You think Nike really wants to keep that guy?
Yeah.
He just lost 1-on-1 to LeBron James and 10-0.
Yeah.
And
even worse is
10-2 or
and
something.
Even worse if LeBron pulls one of those. He pulls down his shorts right before he dunks on him or something like that.
Right. But I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that the players don't want to do it. The sponsors don't want to do it.
Yeah.
There's too much money at stake. There's too many. It's about the egos and it's about the money, and it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it'd be great for us.
Yeah, because All-Star Weekend is getting a little. It is getting a little stale. As good as it still is, it's. I just think the dunk contest it's done with. I think we've seen every dunk that we can see. There's only so much you can do.
He just dunked from the half-court line?
Yeah. Or, set the ball on fire or...
Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, unless you start seeing NBA Jam dunks.
He's on fire.
Yeah. And maybe we should light the ball on fire.
Right. Something.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I don't know. I have been preaching, a horse game or a 1-on-1 for a few years and...
Make it, take it.
Make it, take it.
You should make the whole All-Star game make
it,
it, take
it. I don't know. It's hopefully, with David Stern leaving, you got a new commissioner. He leaves February 1st, right?
I don't know. Sometime this year.
Yeah, I think he lined it up because I think he took over February 1st.
Nothing will change.
I think he took over February 1st, 1984, so he wanted to make it even. So exactly 30 years of as commissioner. So Adam Silver is going to take over. It's gonna be
Adam Sandler? That might be more interesting.
Adam Sandler.
If Adam Sandler takes over. Maybe we'll see the 1-on-1.
I don't know. Maybe with a new commissioner, maybe we'll see some changes in that in the All-Star game. But
no, we won't.
Love your optimism, John.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know. He seems like a guy who's willing to see change, and you know, and you know, you need change. Otherwise the product is gonna grow stale. You know, I don't know.
I don't know. I think they'll hype it up enough every year to.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of the most important weekends in the NBA. Because what other times do you have, a one weekend you could devote to something? Because, with the NBA Finals, you can't because it's, you don't know when it's going to end. The playoffs, it's best of 7, so there's no, unless it's a game 7, there's no eliminating. There's no way you can plan it. This is the only time you can have one weekend where all eyes are on the NBA, and it's guaranteed. So for me, I think it's the most important weekend in the NBA season for them from a marketing standpoint.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless you got some really good teams in the finals.
Yeah, but I mean that's not guaranteed. With the All-Star game, you can guarantee it. That's the reason I think it's important for them to get it right. I think even though the game is itself meaningless, I think to improve the brand, I think it's very important, and it's something that they do need to think about. They need to improve, and I know you don't really care about it, but I think it's important. Even in football, that's the reason for me,
I watch the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
I actually look forward to the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, just not the Pro Bowl.
No, not the Pro Bowl. And I love football.
Yeah.
I love football, but no, the Pro Bowl to me.
And
maybe the game was close today, but
that's crazy for football.
I don't care. I want to see people hitting hard. I want to see sacks. I want to see fumbles. I want to see roughing the kicker. I want to see all that shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy for football's the most popular sport in the country, and yet the Pro Bowl nobody watches the Pro Bowl. It's the one black mark in the NFL.
I watched Boston play. No, I'm just saying. I watched the Celtics game today, and I had no desire to watch the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and it's the only time. I think it's the only time that nobody watches football. It's the AFC champion. I mean, it's the conference championships, and then it's 2 weeks of nothing, and then it's Super Bowl. And the Pro Bowl sort of gets glanced over, and okay, that's
right.
Nice. Team Rice won. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't care at all.
Yeah, because at least with even with baseball, at least you have it's important because it deciding who's gonna get home field advantage in the World Series. So
yeah, actually, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so
that it actually means something.
Yeah, so the NFL, you don't have that. So I don't know.
Right.
I think it's important.
We got to decide whether or not the pitchers have to bat.
But I think that's pretty much it for the weekend. All sports. This is an all sport podcast. So if you don't like sports, probably didn't listen to this podcast.
Anything new this week? Anything happen?
That's it. Sports.
Sports, and
more sports. It's coming to the end of the football season. After this, it's gonna be just basketball until spring training. So, and hockey, but nobody watches hockey.
Nice.
And we just lost our Canadian audience.
Yeah. Both of them.
Right. So we have hopefully a week away. Hopefully it's not 8 days, but 7 days away from the Super Bowl, John, the biggest day of the year for football. You'll get our predictions. Hopefully we'll record it Saturday, and you'll have it up. I'll have it up by Sunday morning. You'll get all our thoughts on the big game.
And I know I'm 1-1 on my guaranteed predictions, but I'm not losing the Super Bowl. So you guys tune in.
Yeah, John John's been doing his homework. John has 2 weeks to prepare for this one, so it's gonna be extra special.
I'm following the direction of the wind.
Literally.
Yeah.
So
And we'll let you know what's going on.
So we'll leave you with that. Hopefully everybody has a good week, and we will see you next week for our Super Bowl podcast. Everybody have a good week. Bye.